people pleasing, approval seeking. These are the things that are robbing you of knowing and feeling your self-worth. This is a topic I want to share some of my own ideas around because I feel like there's a need in this world right now to help people with this. Maybe it's you, maybe it's someone you know. I venture to say that everybody wants to be accepted, right? It's fundamental. It's part of our nature as human beings. We want to be accepted. We want to be part of the group. We don't want to be the reject. We don't want to be the outcast. Nobody wants that. Everybody wants to be accepted. Everybody wants to ultimately be accepted for who they are. But can you really be who you are in this world and be accepted? I want to talk about that specifically today because I think it is possible. In a nutshell, I would say it's impossible, though, if you're expecting other people to approve of you before you really truly express yourself and be yourself in the world. Holding yourself back like that is what leads to approval seeking and to people pleasing. We wouldn't need to do that if we felt that we were okay, that we were good enough. We wouldn't have to look to other people for validation and approval. We wouldn't have to look to other things for validation and approval if we knew deep within ourselves that we were good enough. And if that's something you struggle with, I'd like you to just take a moment and be with that part of yourself. Just take a deep breath and be with that part of yourself that maybe questions your worth. That says, I'm really not that great, or I suck, or I'm not successful at anything, or I haven't really done much in my life up until this point. I'm nothing special, or I'm not pretty. Nobody really finds me attractive, or I'm not really all that intelligent, kind of mediocre. Just take a moment to be with that voice that's inside you. And we all have that voice. We all have it. But let's just go there for a moment. And if you play along with me, there's a reason. There's something I want to show you by playing along with me today. So just take a deep breath. Get into that space where there's that internal judgment, that internal critic. And just take a moment and notice, how do you physically feel? Do you feel relaxed, at peace? Or do you feel kind of tense right now? How does your stomach feel? Do you feel like some butterflies or like a knot in there, or maybe a little bit of nausea? Where in your body are you feeling tension? You just notice the physical reaction to this connection to that place where you feel like you're not good enough. Notice the physical distress that it causes. Yeah, just observing. We're just observing. That physical distress is stress. It's causing you stress to believe that you don't have anything to offer to the world, that you're not good enough, that you lack in some way as compared to other people. It's causing you physiological stress. I just want you to see that. I want you to experience that, not to torture you, but to help you realize that it's not okay anymore. It's not okay anymore to live your life believing a false belief that you are not good enough at the very foundation of your soul. It just isn't true. You see, we want to be accepted. Everybody wants to be accepted. Nobody wants to be the outcast. Nobody wants to be rejected. And some people just really seem to appear to be celebrated and loved and admired by others. I'll tell you something very personal. It's not usually me. I've struggled with this my entire life, I would say. Yeah, it's not easy. I know what it's like. But I've gotten very curious about why is that? Why does that happen? How come despite my intentions, my successes, the things I really truly believe that make me me, that I share with others and share with the world, don't bring the same attention that maybe other people get when they share, when they do what is naturally easy for them? How come I don't get all that attention that they do? Right? Now, there's a little self-comparison there, but I think getting curious about that, getting curious helps you to understand yourself more, because really this is what it's all about. Self-awareness. Taking a moment to pause when you have those thoughts of, I'm not good enough, everyone else is way further ahead than me, I'll never succeed, whatever it is. And just taking that moment, realizing that you need to take that moment first of all is huge. Like, wait a sec here. We're going down a road that maybe we don't want to go down right now or ever. Let's take a moment and just pause, take a breath, and then get into that space, just like where we were a moment ago together. Just get into that space and then ask some questions, get curious. Where is this really coming from? Why do I feel this way? What do I know to be true about me? What makes me different than other people? What makes me unique? These are the kinds of questions that we can ask ourselves to help us get into the truth of who we really are and what we can present to others and share with others in the world. And when you can come from that place, it doesn't matter who's getting attention, who is getting praise for what they're doing, for how smart they are, how pretty they are. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter as much. And the more that you can do this, the easier it becomes for you to show up as you 100%, just being you and being okay with being you and not expecting anybody else to have to give you permission to be yourself, to say, you know what, you are okay, you are smart enough, you are successful enough, you are skinny enough, you are pretty enough. Like, I mean, come on. How many billions of people live on this planet now? 7 billion or more? Do you really need to have everybody's approval before you can be yourself? Come on, my friend. I beg of you, don't even give that any consideration. You were born unique. You were born to share with others on this planet. What makes you, you? Your special gifts are needed. Your voice matters. Your views matter. You're here for a reason. And I don't really think a lot of people believe that, but I wish more did. And I would challenge you, if you have a hard time thinking you are here for a reason, I challenge you to give yourself this next week to check in and ask that question, what am I really here for? And just sit quietly with yourself and just notice what comes up. Notice what's happening around you in your day-to-day life. Who is coming to you and wanting your help or asking you questions about things? What are your heart's desires? What are some of the things you're noticing about yourself, your own interests, your own passions, your own curiosities? And keep a record of that. Write it out. Put it somewhere. And then look at it at the end of the week. Just to see. Perhaps you will see that you have a greater purpose here while you're here on this earth, other than just existing. I think it's really important to know that you do have a purpose, because it really feeds into this deeper connection with yourself and who you believe is your creator. We all need that connection to something that is greater than us. Otherwise, I think it is quite a lonely life if you think it's just you against the world, and then adding in this need to be accepted by other people. Ooh, that's a tough life. I don't want that for anybody. I don't want that for you. I don't want that for me. I don't want that for anybody. So what can we do? We can stop ourselves as soon as we start to think that we need someone else's approval, that we're not good enough, that we start to compare ourselves to someone else in some way. And we drop down into our hearts and we just take a moment. Take a moment. And get curious about that feeling that's coming up. And ask yourself some questions around it. And then pull out some proof that you really are a good person. You are worthy. You are good enough. You don't need to do anything to be any better than you already are in this moment. You just need to acknowledge that you've had some successes. Pull those memories back up into your mind, or pull them out. That didn't even make any sense. I'm not seeking your approval. I'm just speaking from the heart. Pull out those memories. Give yourself the acknowledgement you need. Give it to yourself. Don't rely on anybody else to give you anything. You have power and strength within you. You have to tap into it. You have to. Sometimes it's really hard. You think, oh, I've got nothing to offer. I'm just not good enough at nothing about me. I suck, right? We all have those moments. But we have to dig down deep and remember that we have had successes. We have so much to offer. And we have to get back in touch with those things again and encourage ourselves and keep going forward, right? And then to let go of this idea that, well, because of this, maybe it's something that happened today that now your whole life is ruined. No, it's not. It's just a day. Maybe you're going to have a bad week. Maybe you'll have a bad month or a bad year. It doesn't mean it's the end of your life and the end of the world. It's funny because life has a way of kind of healing us over time. Things change. Things never stay the same, as you know, right? So today, no matter how bad of a day it was, it doesn't really matter. Tomorrow's going to be a new day. You're here for a purpose. You don't need anybody else to approve of you. You can give it to yourself. So find it within yourself, friend. Find it within yourself. Give yourself the approval that you seek from others. They can't give it to you. Only you can give it to you. And it's in there. It's already in there. Dig deep, get curious. And I'll talk to you soon.